What up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the After 29 podcast, episode 24, Confidence and Assertiveness. I am Vincent Dunstan, a.k.a. Minister V. Let's get it going.
It's your boy, Malcolm Davis, man of steel.
Clayton Foster, big shoulder brother in the building.
Ozzy Boom, blessed and highly favored.
All right, God, let's go to God in prayer. Eternal God, our Father, we come to you again, Lord, to give your name honor, glory, and praise, Lord. Lord, we ask that you will bless this topic, Lord, bless the conversation, Lord. We ask that you will bless this brotherhood. Lord, we just ask that everything that is said tonight, Lord, will be uplifting and useful to those that are listening, Lord. And Lord, we also pray that we are able to reach people, Lord. Lord, so we just pray for growth, and we just pray that, this word just gets spread all through the internet and social media, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, man. Confidence and assertiveness, man. Like stick your chest out a little bit, man. Do your little caveman thing. Nah, I ain't say jump your chest. I said stick your chest out, man. So you got a little too much confidence, man. God. And now, man, I mean, it's a great feature for a man to have. And tonight we are strictly addressing the brothers, confidence and assertiveness. And, It's a good thing for a man to have. I mean, honestly, we've seen from experience, no one likes a whiny wimp of a man. A whiny wimp of a man is a welcome mat, and everybody will walk all over. But anyway, benefits to being, a man with, who's confident and assertive. What are those benefits, man?
Man, I think a confident man, when a confident man enters the room, man, I think people gravitate more towards confident men. Women definitely gravitate towards confident men. I would definitely tell you that, even though they might call you arrogant at one day, but the next day they all over you.
Yes, sir.
A confident man, me and Clayton, we used to sell cars, and I'm still in sales. Clayton's still in sales. Confident salespeople sold more cars, and you could tell, especially when you're trying to sell a $50,000 car and you got to take an $800 a month payment in there. If you ain't confident, ain't no way you closing that deal. So I think confident men, it benefits them on the job as well. I have closed a lot of $800 payments.
Yeah, well, your homeboy didn't close. I mean, he walked in there like he was scared to tell me, and then when he sat to pay, he told me, "Now look," I was already not sold, man. So yeah, he didn't exude confidence at all.
Yeah, I closed $800 payment on a tradesman truck, boy.
On a tradesman.
On a tradesman. No upgrades.
Good, Clay.
But yeah, so I think confidence gives you access to things beyond your skills or just your natural looks. Because, people always talk, well, how did ugly dude got that fine girl? He's probably confident and sure of himself. So, and then that goes for, anything in life. So if you're confident at anything that you're trying to go after, you have a better chance when you go in with confidence and assertiveness. Versus being timid and shy and you definitely not going to
passive.
Get it. Yeah. So confidence is a key to life.
Yeah.
Having confidence is a very important thing, especially if you want to think about it, like trying to get a job or whatever. So if you walk into the interview room or whatnot, and people are asking you questions, they see that you're confident. They're gonna be like, I want someone like this on my team to be a leader, or something like that. And even if for a person that is shy and timid, I mean, not saying that they won't get the job, but comparing it to someone that's confident, they're going to probably go with the person that's confident because they want that person to eventually be a leader or whatever. So
it's that energy.
Yeah. But one of those things that I think that comes with it, the benefits of it, especially when it comes to confidence, assertiveness, maybe. I think they kind of go hand in hand. And one of the things that I think that is very beneficial to having those as a man is that not only does it make you sure about you, but it makes those around you sure about you. Right. And especially like you were just saying, if you're in a leadership role or, your husband or hell, if you're just out there on the street and something happens and you say, hey, y'all need to do this, or maybe we need to try this. And, let's just say if an accident happened and somebody's trapped under a car, and you say, hey, I think we need to try this so we can get this person from out of there, and you're very assertive with your notion, and you're confident that this is going to work, you're sure that this is going to work, everybody around you's like, okay, let's try that, versus some little whiny woman says, hey, I think maybe we should try. And first of all, they're not listening to you, because they're like, shit, you don't even sound like you believe that that's going to work. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, like I said, it's a great. There are great attributes to have. They're great, characteristics to have as a man, especially like dealing with the opposite sex. I think it's natural that women want a confident man, someone who is sure about himself, and someone who is assertive, who can interject himself, not one that she's got to speak up for. And a woman doesn't need a man to speak up for, but I think sometimes a woman likes a man that like, hey, all right, my man, he got it. Like, he can speak, they like that assertiveness about it. Now, why is confidence often confused with arrogance? And it is very often. And I'll say this on it. I really think it's a form of jealousy when people often confuse, confidence with arrogance. And not saying that that's not every instance, because sometimes people really are just being really arrogant. But sometimes when a man is just really confident about himself, he's sure about himself, he's comfortable in who he is or whatever, people take that like, oh, but he think he's this and he think he's high and mighty, when really it's not that he's trying to be high and mighty. He's just sure of him. He's sure of his abilities, he's sure of his skill, he's sure of just who he is as a man. So I don't know, y'all tell me.
I think it is jealousy at that point. Now, I do think sometimes you can be arrogant, but Michael Jordan was the most confident basketball player on the planet. And he went out there and he performed every night because he had confidence. And I just think most of the time women will call a man arrogant is probably because you hadn't been paying any attention to that woman. I don't get it. I think confidence is a good thing. And if you have to be arrogant to get your confidence where it needs to be, so be it.
Yeah.
I think you're confused for multiple reasons. I think it could be someone just hating on you because you're confident. I think sometimes it can be a situation where the person's not used to seeing someone who's confident, and they expect a certain thing from the person when it's the opposite of it. I think they just not used to it, because I've talked to women who are used to dealing with guys who just like been to whatever they say and not confident and sure of themselves. Like, been in sales for a long time. I've always been this way, but like been in sales for a long time, like you have to be confident if you want to make some money. So I think how you do anything is how you do everything. So being that day to day, that's the state that I had to be in. I think it spills over to everything, like your personal life, and everything that you do, and it becomes your natural state once you get used to doing it. And some people just not used to it, used to seeing it that way, and they just get it confused.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, what Vincent was saying, like he was saying about someone that has confidence. A lot of people can be jealous about that, and that person is comfortable with who they are or whatnot, and the people that are jealous is like, I'm not comfortable with who I am, so I'm gonna like hate on that person. But a person that I think about that I feel like they received or people say that he was arrogant and everything like that is Kobe Bryant. A lot of people said he was a ball hog. I mean, he talked trash to his teammates and everything like that, but in reality he was confident who he was, and he was very dedicated to his craft or whatever. He practiced long hours, whatnot, and all he was doing was just trying to make people better around him. So he was a definite strong leader or whatever. But I mean, I feel like that is a person that got that label about being.
But your confidence will rub some people the wrong way sometimes. So what?
I mean, and there is that fine line of confidence and cockiness, and we do know that. And so I do want to ask, at what point does confidence cross that line and it becomes cockiness? And because I think that also brings on that whole notion of arrogance. People really look at it like, okay, you could be sure about yourself or whatever, and it ain't nothing wrong with being sure about yourself. But I think sometimes people confuse your confidence with the arrogance. like you said, sometimes they're not used to it. So they're basically they've been used to seeing a 0 all this time. Now they see somebody on 100 when it comes to themselves. Yeah, that could be a little arrogant. Now, where I think it crosses the line, and at what point does confidence become cockiness? You could be sure about yourself, but I think when you go advertising it, and you start speaking on it, oh, I'm this, I'm that. There's nothing wrong with, being sure of yourself. But I think when you go advertising it, I think that's where cockiness comes in, where you start to, you start speaking on it. Oh, I know I'm the stuff. Oh, I know I'm this. And it's one thing to say, yeah, I know how to do that. I can do that. Versus, yeah, I can do it. I can do it. I think when you start blatantly advertising it and you start rubbing it in people's faces, I think that's where it becomes cockiness.
Right.
Well, yeah, I definitely do that once you start talking about yourself and tooting your own horn. Michael Jordan never said that he was the best basketball player on the planet.
Right.
We all said it for him.
Right.
And I think that's the difference in him being confidence and being cockiness, because he didn't say it himself.
Yeah.
But I just think that if somebody call you cocky, you shouldn't stop being confident just because somebody thinks you're cocky, right?
No.
You don't let somebody take your confidence away because they hating on you. So if you got to be arrogant and cocky just to get your confidence where it needs to be, go for it.
Yeah.
I think where confidence becomes cockiness is, like as Vincent said, you're saying all these things about yourself that may not necessarily be true,
Right?
Or even if they are true, like you don't have to be the one that says it. You should
Just
let
show
the
it.
product of your confidence show itself. And I think the second thing is like if you're saying all these things, but you have no proof of what you're claiming, proof of your claims. So you can say, yo, I'm this, I'm that, and that, but you're lying. It ain't really there. So I think the product should speak for itself. You don't necessarily have to say, well, I'm the greatest at this. But I mean, Muhammad Ali, he would always say he was the greatest, but
I mean, he
He also
But they used to also call him cocky and arrogant.
But
as well.
I would say, now, and I don't get me wrong, I love the man, and I loved his career.
But he had the results too.
But he did have the results. But I would say that Michael Jordan versus Muhammad Ali, or even Mike Tyson versus Muhammad Ali. Mike Tyson was sure of himself when he got in the ring. I think Muhammad Ali was sure of himself, absolutely. But Muhammad Ali also was a bragger. He was an advertiser. I'm the greatest. I'm the this. I'm that. Don't get me wrong. Part of that was part of his persona as a boxer.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I just think that was who he was portraying himself to be.
Yeah, it was his character.
That was his character, and that's how he won matches.
But it could be seen.
And
I would say that was.
He was crazy all the time.
But I would say that was being a little bit arrogant because you're blatantly throwing it in people's faces. And don't get me wrong, he was the greatest. If we really think he was the greatest, and it was cocky. I think now where I think the detriment of cockiness comes in is when you can't back it up. Mm-hmm. Now you could be a little arrogant sometimes. People say I'm arrogant, but I can back up what I'm being arrogant about. I think you're like an ass when you're out there saying I'm this and I'm that, and then when you put to the test, like you said, you can't show the product of what you're bragging about. Okay, but now you're like an ass.
Yeah, but a confident man don't have to say anything because people see how you carry yourself.
Absolutely.
I remember I used to date this girl at Target, and it was this older lady that used to work there with me, and I told her I was talking to her. She was like, "Why are you talking to that girl? The way you carry yourself and stuff, you can do much better than that girl." The girl, she was a little hood.
That one.
She was a lot of hood. Malcolm's being modest. She was a lot of hood. But go ahead.
But like as I was saying, people see how you carry yourself, so people see your confidence in you. So you don't really have to say much about it because people will see it the way you carry yourself, and they'll see your confidence.
It's already understood. Don't need to be said.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically what everyone said. I mean, it's good to have confidence thinking that you can do anything, but to, sit up there and brag and say, I could get any girl. And like, if you have your friends that like you belittle them.
Dumbest statement you could ever make.
Yeah. Or saying like, oh man, I got like all this and that or whatever. But I mean, when, like y'all said, when push comes to shove, when y'all put to the test, y'all can't do it. So, I definitely
usually be the ones that talk all that smack.
The one that can't do
when it comes
jack.
down to it,
right?
You can't.
Just
show
a big dud. You know what? And since we are talking about this, so I'm gonna throw this in there. We're talking about being confident. Do y'all think it is how do I want to say this? Do you think it is it's going to backfire in your face to be confident when it comes to matters of sex.
No,
Is it? Hold on. Are you setting yourself up for failure by being confident in your ability for sex? Because I believe that that's one. You can be confident. You know what you're able to do in bed. I do think that that's one that you should never be cocky about what you can do in bed.
You have to be confident before you have sex. Because if you're not confident, you is not
Probably
going
ain't gonna get to that point.
You ain't ever gonna get to that point.
Hear me out. Let me finish the thought. So, I mean, it's great to be confident. I said I think it's a huge detriment when you cross the line and you're being cocky about what you're doing in bed because I don't think you should brag. I don't think you should talk about it.
So you shouldn't put on R. Kelly. It's on.
That's not what I'm saying.
No, so you
what I'm saying is you shouldn't brag about like, oh yeah, girl, I could do this. I don't think you should do that.
No.
I think you set yourself up.
That.
I think you set yourself up for failure.
Don't brag on your sex, but you got to be confident when you get into the
agree.
bedroom.
No, I agree.
When the
that.
clothes come off, you better be on your A game.
Yeah, no, I do believe that you should be confident in matters of sex.
Especially if you want to get it again. So I think confidence.
I think confidence is necessary in matters of the bedroom.
Yeah,
I think when you cross the line, you set yourself up for failure because now you've told this girl all these things. Oh yeah, I could do this, girl. I'm gonna have you crawling up the wall. Yeah, I'm gonna have you, and I'm. This is an adult. This is an adult podcast. Girl, I'm gonna have you come in 3, 4, 5 times.
I don't need girls crawling. I need the girls to throw that thing back. So I want my girl to be just as confident as I am in the bedroom. Right. Yeah. That's how you have the greatest sex.
But the detriment does come in when you do cross that line. So
you shouldn't be
only if you can't follow through.
You shouldn't be bragging
but here's
on
the
things
thing.
that you should be able to.
I don't care. Let's just be realistic. I don't care what your prowess is, and as far as sex goes, not every man can satisfy every woman. Everybody is different. I don't care if you 4 inches or 12 inches. Not everything satisfies everything. Yeah. Every person. Yeah. So I think when you start bragging, I say, you're good in bed. You've proven that. You've proven your record time and time again or whatever. I still think this is one of those show to prove versus talk to prove. Right. I don't think this is one of those. Don't go around because we all hear. We've all been in locker rooms and in the car.
But you can't be timid in the bedroom.
No. I'm not saying going in, but like I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Like I know, man. I'm about to tear this up, but I'm not going to say it to her or to anybody else because I want to prove that.
Feel like choking the girl, choke the girl.
Yeah,
you just got to go all in. You can't be timid in sex, man. That ain't how it works.
But in all seriousness, but I do believe that that's another area. We didn't even touch on it. We was being so practical. Yeah. That is an area where I think confidence is very beneficial, in the matters of the bedroom. Because a woman be like, if you walking all timid, and like Michael said, you all timid and shy and unsure of yourself, she gonna be looking at you like, this dude about to hurt me and not in a good way because he don't look like he know what he doing because he's all timid.
Yeah, you might not even get to that point.
No, but she might be like, what? Never mind. Yeah, she might be like either never mind, or if you seem that way in like the initial stages, like when y'all are getting to know each other, she's not in a rush to drop him for you because she's like, hey, I want to give this to some man that knows what he's doing, and I'm going to enjoy this. Versus,
you saying the innards aren't going to be viscous.
A timid man will lose yourself some cutty. Don't do that, guys.
I think there's probably very few women out here that probably actually like that timid man. But what I'm saying is,
I ain't never met one.
I've never met one. No, I'm lying. I have met one, and it didn't work out because I'm like,
timid guy.
I'm like, you got the. Bro. She was into that, but I was like, you got the wrong one with me. I was like, my personality too strong for that.
So she want to be dominant.
Yes,
right. Because there's a lot of women who want to be dominant. They want to be the boss, so they can only get with a timid dude, and it's not gonna like push back or take the lead because they want to be the boss. So I've seen that many times.
I know this ain't what
they usually don't be happy with those dudes.
No,
but that's the only dudes.
But
they are happy being in control.
I got you.
And they'll do everything they can to keep his confidence
at
a low level.
I don't like controlling women like that.
I'm
So that's
afraid of
not
a
me.
controlling woman.
I ain't afraid of
no.
no woman.
Hold on. Hear me out on that when I say that. I'm afraid of a controlling woman because in my mind, a controlling woman is the same kind of woman that want to do something to, like what Malcolm was talking about the other day, talking about a woman who want to take, her little vibrator and, she want to use it on you and shit.
Oh no!
What conversation? Was I on the
Remember
phone?
we was having that conversation? This is about a month or so ago. We was talking about women want to try stuff with you.
Someone like
She got, to me, that's too much confidence.
what's the dude DJ Envy? You talking about something like that?
Wait, DJ Envy had that done song?
Yeah, you remember there was someone his girl.
We was talking about the whole prostate thing.
Oh no, we got to start. No, do not start this. Dude.
Okay, you know what? All right,
Prostate
let's get
milking.
back on
Okay, I
topic.
know what you're saying.
Let's get back on topic. I might even edit this whole part out. But all right.
Don't get
So
this man
so
started
look,
up
all
on
right.
this.
So confidence and assertiveness, right? And we just kind of talked about some of that. What would be some of those detriments, man, of being a man who lacks confidence and lacks the ability to be assertive? Go ahead, Marcelo.
I'll say that. I mean, I bring the job instance back up. I mean, if you, even if you have a job,
we got way off topic.
Yeah.
but like, yeah, for example, if you're trying to like, for example, get a raise or something like that, by you being timid and holding back and not like, going out there and telling like your boss like, hey, I work hard. I know what I'm doing. I deserve a raise or whatever. By you sitting back, other people are gonna, get in front of you and get raises while you sitting back and not getting the same pay or whatever.
Right.
Same thing with a girl or just anything in life. I mean, if you sit back, I mean, sometimes it's good to sit back, but for something like that, like, nah, you gotta definitely make sure that you come out and you bring your A game at all times. That you're very spoken. Like people would hear you, whatnot. I mean, so.
Yeah, so I mean, I again, like you know what I always say, how you do anything is how you do everything. So like if you're timid in your work life or you're timid in your home life, like it's gonna spill over.
Yep.
So if you're not confident in one area, you're not gonna be confident in another. You can't expect results from work that you can't even get at home. So and it goes for many things. Like if you're out and about in the world, you're at a restaurant or something, and they mess your order up, but you're all scared to say something. Like like you're gonna get what you asked for. Like if you don't tell people, like check people and like please let them know. You don't have to be rude about it or anything, but you have to be confident enough to speak up and say something. Right. So because if you don't, people are gonna treat you the way that you act. So like they're gonna if you allow it, it's gonna always happen.
Right. Yeah. I used to always tell women that men only do what you allow them to do to you.
Absolutely.
So if you allow men to go out there and cheat on you, that's what he's gonna do to you because you are being.
You're setting the tone of the behavior.
Yes. And that's what confidence is. You can't allow people to do things to you, and you just got to be. That's when a confident man know when to be assertive, without going overboard. Now he ain't gonna be a bully or anything like that, but he needs to know when to be assertive. Just like on the job, when you go in and closing that $800 payment on a tradesman, and even when you're going, even just everyday life, even when being a father figure, you have to be assertive with your kids, and they need to understand that this is daddy being assertive, and all of that comes with confidence, and I think confidence is the key to being assertive as a man.
Yeah, I've run into situations where like somebody tried to say something slick to me, and then I had to like hit the brakes real quick, like hold up. I was like, don't try to disrespect me like that. If I had to let that slide, they would think that that's the norm, and they would continue to do it. Like I've run into many situations like that. People like say just random little smart comments, but okay, sometimes you might just like, oh, I should write it off. I don't think you should ever write it off. Like, so you don't have to be a jerk, but you gotta like firmly let them know, like, I don't play that.
I think and I've been in some of those situations where I've had to determine whether I should mute my confidence or my assertiveness, because like you said, somebody might say something to you sometimes, and most of the time I'm like that. Like I'm one of those people, I don't let stuff slide. That's just me. I don't let it slide. But I have had those moments where I was like, maybe this is where the cockiness came out. I was like, man, I could rip them a whole asshole, a whole new one. So I ain't even gonna go there with them. Like I will let this one slide because I know what I'm capable of doing if I was to react. I think that's some of those moments where you do choose to yield a little bit. And it's not that you're not confident or you're not, you're becoming passive. You're just yielding your confidence at that time because you're like, why should I entertain, every little thought? But now on the flip side of it is one of those detriments of lacking it is even if you know for a fact, like, man, I could rip them if I needed to. Right. The moment you choose not to, even if it's just one time, somebody around is seeing like, oh yeah, I could say this to him because, he ain't gonna do nothing. Mm-hmm. Right. Now, what they don't know is, dude, you only got away with it once. You do that again, you might get your teeth knocked in next time, or or I might say something back that you're not gonna like, So I think that's the detriment. One of the biggest detriments is that when you lack that, you are giving off, you're showing a habit, and you're creating a habit and a behavior, and it makes people do, it does make people treat you like a welcome mat, because like I can do whatever, I can say whatever, you ain't gonna say nothing. Or, or if I need, or sometimes it makes people overlook you, not look past you, but, it just makes them overlook you. Cause like Miles was saying, like, let's just say a job situation or sports or whatever. I'm not going to entrust you to carry out an objective cause you're not showing me that you can do that. Now you may have the skill, but the fact that you lack confidence, I'm not all that sure that that you can. So I think it creates missed opportunities, so,
and it also made me think about a story. Clayton knows about this, where I could have sat back and not said anything, but I was disrespected. Actually, my wife was disrespected. I'm gonna try to go through this story real quick. So me and my wife, we went with some friends of ours. We went to King's, and some white dude started throwing ice. My wife was pregnant. I'm like, dude, like, yo, can you just apologize for throwing ice? Like, that's kind of immature. Like, don't do that. He kept doing it, and I got mad. I'm like, dude, like, stop throwing ice. How would you like it if I threw like ice at y'all or whatnot? So things got crazy, and I stood up. I was yelling, and people started looking around. Our waiter left, and we ended up getting a new waiter because I guess they got scared or whatever. So we almost got kicked out of Kings because of that. But I mean, yeah, that's just being me showing confidence in myself, saying like, hey, I'm not gonna let anybody step over me or disrespect my friends or my wife or whatnot. So. Right.
Yeah, which now, and I'm glad you brought that up because I want to know, like, is there any point in your lives that you've lacked confidence where you otherwise should have, stood a little bit taller than maybe you didn't?
When I was younger, I kind of just stayed to myself and like didn't really like socialize with people, so I was cool with just being with myself. So like even with my younger sister, she was nagging, like mess with me, and then. I guess I could have stopped it earlier, but I let it get to a certain point, and then I just pop off, and then people be like, "Oh, what's wrong with him?" So I think as I grew older, I tried to, as far as assertiveness, I would like try to nip things in the bud earlier, than later. Then when it becomes a little ugly, I let it persist because they think that this behavior is okay. Right. And I think that's been a long work in progress. Even now to 34 years old, like I that behavior is still diminishing a little bit. I'm starting to be more recognize it more that it's still in me sometimes with certain situations. So I just try to remain conscious of that sometimes because that's an issue I had when I was younger.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I've been a pretty confident guy. I would tell you this: when I took calculus, I used to talk to my favorite teacher, Miss Coates. I used to always tell her, I'm like, I don't know if I'm smart enough to take calculus, and she would always reaffirm that you definitely are smart enough to take calculus and those things. So I think that class, I probably lacked a little bit of confidence in my ability to do the work. But again, Miss Coates always reaffirmed that I am right where I should be. But I think I'm a pretty confident guy. You either like me or you don't like me, and I'm still gonna be me. But go ahead, Monzo.
Yeah, for me, the fellas already know, and I talk to Clayton and Malcolm about it all the time because they go about their their flashback memories or whatnot. I lack confidence when it was coming to play football or whatever. I would always say, yeah, I want to play, but then when it came down to signing up, I'm like, man, I don't know if I'm good enough or whatnot. But I mean, you know, I was always in the weight room running track and stuff like that. I was a African beast, you know. But no, but no. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's one thing I do regret. Like, I wish I would have had the strong backbone to actually play football. So.
You really like football, but you definitely got to be confident to play football.
Right.
Yeah. I think for me, it was when I was a lot younger. And, you know, and my dad used to say this all the time. Like, when I was really younger, I know it's kind of hard to imagine now, but I was, like, very reclusive or whatever. Like, when there were crowd was here and I was in a corner by myself because I really couldn't handle you know, being amongst the crowds. I didn't have that confidence to like stand in the crowd or whatever. And like when I did walk into a crowd, I was like very timid. I could walk with my head down. Because I couldn't lock eyes with people in most cases because I was like, if I lock eyes with them, they may speak to me. And then I don't know what to say or I don't know how to engage people in conversation. Now, of course, as big as my mouth is now, you know, that was one of those things where I had to mature over time. And then as I started coming into my teens, I kind of broke out of that shell. One, because I was tired of my father actually saying it. You know, he was like, and he did it on purpose. You know, he would say like, you need to come out of that shell. Mm-hmm. What he never realized that was when I came out of that shell, I came out of that shell completely. There is no shell. When I walk into a room, I command a room. When I walk, and people say that about me now anyway, when I come in, they're like, you know, you take command of the room. That's just my natural personality. I have a very strong personality. Like I said, I don't let things get by me anymore. And sometimes, is it a cockiness? It may be. But I back it up. Right. When I walk into a meeting at my job, I back it up. I walk in and I start speaking and everybody attends to what I'm saying. They take notes or whatever, you know, and they engage with me, you know, versus there's other people on our jobs when they start talking, they're like, oh, hell, here they go again. You know, so, but, you know, it was one, for me, it was one of those childhood things like that I had to overcome. And I think maybe part of it came from us because I had such a assertive father who had a very strong, dominant personality. So naturally, I cowered away. But, you know, like I said, as I started getting into like my preteen years, I quickly came out of that, you know, and it was like I walk with my head high every single time. And I guess that is part of confidence that sometimes, like one of y'all said it earlier, I was like, sometimes you can't back it up, right. But I'm going to walk in here like I can,
right. Yeah.
You know, and until somebody put me on the spot and make me prove that I can't, I'm going to be the part until I can actually be the part. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But one of those things is, like I said, you do walk a fine line sometimes. And you know, has anyone ever called y'all arrogant or cocky? I just gotta say, without telling a story, yes, I have been called cocky. I've been called arrogant. Because yes, I'm very sure about myself. I'm very sure about my abilities. Have I had those instances where I kind of brag a little bit? Yes. But now the difference was I still could back it up. Mm-hmm. Right. But I didn't have to go around, you know, advertising it. But I did. I was so, you know, it was one of those things that it was something I was proud of, you know, and I wanted them to know. So, you know, they was like, you know, you're a little cocky. I was like, be that as it may, but I still produce results, you know, so.
Man, I've been called that before. I had no reason why I got called that before. But normally when somebody called me arrogant, they end up flirting with me probably a day or two later. So, I mean, I don't understand the correlation between that, but, I don't know. I have been called arrogant before, though.
Yeah, I've been called cocky a couple times, like by women. But one that sticks out in my mind the most was when I was selling cars. My boy Terry, it was crazy. We was just playing I think a customer or somebody gave me like this little magnetic Marvel Comics dartboard. They knew I like Marvel Comics, whatever. They gave me a Marvel Comics dartboard. So I put it up in my office, and it was like at the end of the night, nobody was in the showroom, and me and Terry, we were just tossing darts or whatever. And I kept beating them. And like earlier that day, we had like a walk around competition, and I won that too. And he was like, "Man, why you always got to be so good at everything?" I was like, "Hey man, I was born this way, baby." He talks, "You arrogant mother." But we laughed. Like, it was cool. We laughed about it or whatever. Right. But yeah. I mean, of course, like when you're confident in yourself, I mean, people are gonna say. I think he said it jokingly. I don't think he meant it. Maybe he did, but he said it jokingly. But I think when you're confident, it's gonna be inevitable that somebody's gonna say something.
Right. I mean, I say Clayton is arrogant all the time. Always
Oh,
be talking
yeah,
about
you
some
do.
big shoulder brother.
Yeah.
No, but
Yeah.
but no, for me, yeah, I've been called arrogant before, and I mean, my upbringing, like, it makes me think about what my mom said. The football is in your courts, and I never understood what she meant by that, but I do now. But no, I mean, I've been called arrogant just the way I carry myself, and I mean, I take pride in my name, so I've followed by that and whatnot. And I mean, yeah, people are going to be jealous of you being confident in yourself, but it's just like they actually see a leader in you or whatnot. So
Yeah. You know, when you think about your confidence and your level of assertiveness, to interject yourself in things, and we talked about how beneficial it is to have those characteristics as a man, and we talked about, like, one of those benefits being that it instills confidence in those around you, especially like in a job situation, and even at home, your wife, your family, friends, whoever around you, they are more susceptible to you because of your ability to interject yourself or to carry yourself in a particular manner. Right. Question is, why doesn't those characteristics always transfer between work and home and vice versa? And what we mean by that is sometimes people are very aggressive at home. They're very confident and assertive, able to interject themselves. They walk tall, but then as soon as they walk into the job situation, very timid and passive. Or the flip side, they're very confident at work, able to get things done. Everybody believes in their ability at work, but then when they get home, very passive, a little whiny little wimp at home. Family just walks all over them, So why do you think that doesn't transfer over sometimes?
I don't know, man. Go ahead, Clay.
So for me, honestly, again, my line, how you do anything is how you do everything. So I haven't seen someone who's confident in one area and then like at home and then not confident at work. So I haven't seen that. I don't think that really exists. I think if it does exist, one of those is fake. One of those is the real you. Right. So you're either confident or you're not, and it's gonna be congruent on each front.
Absolutely.
So again, how you do anything is how you do everything. I think, like I said, it's if they are confident at work and they're getting berated at home and they're not assertive at home, yeah, that confidence at work is fake.
Some men, if they're at home, their wife is the more dominant creature, so that the wife controls more things. But when they get into work, they might be like a manager or something like that, and you see all of that aggression come out.
Right.
But
what I'm saying is, though,
confident at home.
But what I'm saying is, usually in those cases, if someone, when they're at work, it's gonna be overboard. Like,
right,
it's usually those we've all had those managers that just go overboard with power because they have none at home. Right. But like I said, it's fake. It's not real. Like, because we know real confidence and real assertiveness is not gonna be abrasive to others. So that's what I'm saying. One of those is gonna be fake.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. What I really look at when I see that is that, like you said, one of them is fake. One of them is who you really are. The other one is fake. And I think when I see it in that instance, like, let's just say, for instance, there's a man who is very confident at work, is very sure about his ability and this thing, that he's able to walk into a room and command it. But when he's at home, it's the total opposite. What I see that as is that, first of all, it is fake, but this is him able to express himself in all the ways that he's not able to do at home in his personal life. Because I think our personal life is who we really truly are. Our work lives is who we have to be, who we have to be at work. Now, like you did say, how you do something is how you do how you do anything is how you do everything. And I do believe that. But I believe more of that characteristic of who we truly are is how we act and how we portray ourselves at home. And then sometimes that it doesn't transfer over because you're like, yeah, when I'm at home, yeah, my wife runs over me, but that's my wife. That's the life I chose. But when I go to work, if I want to keep my, if I want to keep my way of living, I have to be this. Or sometimes this is people's outlet. Like, when I get to work, man, I get to call the shots. My wife never lets me call the shots. But when I get here, man, I'm going to call these shots.
But generally, when you say, like, when it's like that, if someone's don't have it at home, when they have that power at work, they abuse it.
Yeah. And they normally do because you know what, they're making up for what they can't do at home. So not only are they doing what's required, they have to be assertive and all of that at work, but they're like,
they go overboard.
I'm about to really be this. They're taking out their frustrations on work, all the things that they can't do at home.
Yeah, we don't have asshole managers before.
Yeah, you know.
And I mean, people like that have the attitude that they're gonna go all out, and I mean, just don't care who they hurt or what they say or whatever.
Like
So.
that one manager you had at the post office.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah, but you do have people like that. Like you said, I'm about to go all out. I can't do this anywhere else. I'm gonna get my, get my say so here, since this is the only place that I really can do it. And I feel like that really, I don't see it to be the opposite. I've never really witnessed it as the opposite. I don't see people who are usually timid at work, but then come home and be all forceful. It's usually the other way around. Right. Usually they're timid at home, and then they get to work and they act a butthole.
Yeah, we had a couple of managers like
that.
that.
We did. Named Joey. I'm going to say his name.
That's his name.
You know, Malcolm, man, always calling people names.
So what?
Yeah,
Joey was a butt, but I bet you
he's
at
about
home,
to catch
Joey,
these hands one
yes,
day.
he was. Yes, he was. He's gonna catch a lot of hands.
He's about to catch some hands one day.
Yeah.
You think that was his issue? You think that?
I absolutely
honestly,
think that was his issue.
No, I in his case, I think he was a butt at home and at work.
Oh, okay.
I don't think that he lacked at home. He seemed Joey was one of those people.
To catch them hands one day.
He was probably about to catch his wife hands. But anyway, overall, guys, how can men who maybe lack confidence and maybe and have the inability to be assertive in situations, how can they obtain these characteristics if they don't have it? Or is it just a lost cause? Like, if that's just not you, that's just not you.
I'm gonna say this: you can do all things through Christ that strengthens you. So definitely believe in yourself. And if you're not gonna believe in yourself, then no one who's gonna believe in you. So
absolutely,
definitely, do it the right way. Know that you can go into an interview or talk to a girl and know that you can have the confidence and potentially dating her or whatnot. Yeah. I mean, if it doesn't fall through, then pick your head up and move on to the next person or next job or whatever. So
on to the next.
Yeah, I think in several ways. I think the couple ways I think that I drew confidence was like getting into sales, because it may not work. It may not be for you, but if you give yourself a chance to really develop in sales, you have no choice but to be confident. And again, if you're confident at work and you have to do this every day, that should spill over into the other areas of your life. Mm-hmm. And then I think the second way is like having people around you, like your friends around you. If you have confident friends, you're gonna assimilate some of that.
It should rub off on
you. You would hope so, but you have to have friends that can come to you and tell you like, hey, bro, this situation right here, you could have handled that with more confidence. Like let them run over you. Like you gotta have people around you that like can objectively look at you and like, hey, bro, and like tell you this, and you can't get upset. They tell you something, come to you like because they want you to be better and do better. So.
In other words, come to him like, hey man, you was being a straight up B.
Right.
I actually think confidence comes with you just being yourself, man. Be who you are at all points, and then the confidence is always gonna be with you. Sometimes we try to change it up when we get around certain people. We try to change up who we are. I just think if you just be yourself, whoever you are, whether they like you or not, your confidence is always gonna be there, and then your assertiveness will come if you can be who you are.
That's good, man. We should keep you on the podcast.
I mean, I agree with you guys. I don't really have much to add to that. I mean, just like Michael said, man, just be you and be comfortable being you.
Well, I mean, don't be you if you ain't confident.
Well, but that's a start though. Even if you're not confident because you're uncomfortable, and you're uncomfortable being you. Start with being comfortable being you. Start at the foundation. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be comfortable being me, and then all else should follow. Because now everything else that I'm trying to do, as long as I'm comfortable being me, which I'm the best one to be me, that should start to exude some of that behavior of confidence, which will lead to being able to be assertive, because now you're standing tall, because you're like, what, I'm me. Nobody else can be me better than me. I know it sounds like a cliche, but it is. Anyway, been another episode of the After 29 podcast. Until next time, peace.
Stop being a